Mr. Arnie Carlson. You're horrible! He's horrible! He's so bad! No, I'm kidding. I mean, your opening. Wow, what an opening. At first I thought he was very casual. I'm like, okay, is this going to be one of those types of speeches? But then, bam, he got our attention. I tell you, first I thought it was going to be the shocking opening that got me, but no, it was the statistics you gave us that really turned me on today. That's really bad. 300 million of us sheep following 545 people? That's just unbelievable. Unbelievable. The one thing that threw me as you got through the speech, though, was your catchphrase. I thought it was going to be woe is us the whole time. But I think you switched over to the, oh, he's terrible, she's terrible thing. But it kept our attention because you gave us information, you gave us facts, and people start calming down, listening to what you have to say, and then wham, you're right back. Get our attention, get us back into it. So we stay focused on your message. And I think that was one of the key things. Even if nobody else realized it, it was a little bit subliminal to be involved, to make a difference. Don't let other people choose what we're going to do. And how did you do that? Great gestures. You're yelling at people here, you're yelling at people there, and you didn't hide behind the podium. You got out and about. Your content, as I said, great references, right? He quoted an author of an article, he gave us statistics, he gave us information. At the same time, he also gave us personal experiences. I don't think I've ever been to a polling station where I was the first person near the end of the day to be the first person to be there. That's really sad. That's a really sad state of affairs. And I felt you conveyed that emotion, how disappointed you were. The one thing, though, you did ask a few questions of the audience, although they were, I can't think of the word now, redundant, would that be the right term? Rhetorical. However, it almost seemed like you were really expecting a response. So I was at one point there, I was really hoping you were going to say, by a show of hands, who here has never voted in a primary? Or who here has voted in a primary? To at least make sure that you have that connection. Voice, though, was great. You kept bringing back the attention. The one thing I noticed, this speech could have been given anywhere. It could have been given in front of an audience. It could have been given over the phone. It could have been given over the radio. I think you would have conveyed your message. You would have conveyed the energy. You would have conveyed your information very well. The one thing that I did notice is you spent a lot of time talking to these two. Do you have a thing for blondes? You do? I noticed you weren't saying anything to these dark-haired fellows over here, but the blondes over here. You did look around, but when you wanted to make that connection, it seems like it was to Janice and Eric. When it came to the very end, too, you had a pretty good ending. You had a pretty good ending that you offered a solution. You offered an alternative. You brought it all back to home of your core message. Your last sentence was a little weak. Any of us can do it. You just sort of slipped it there at the end. I'm thinking maybe a much stronger closing. Something to the effect of, anyone can complain, but it takes a leader to make a difference. Something along those lines. Even one of the cliche phrases like you mentioned. Any one of those would have worked, something with a little bit more power at the end. Just like your beginning, like, woe is us, Joel's talking too long. Thank you very much. Oh, is that one yours?